I wanted to see that with the experience that I had working with students from many different parts of the world, and many of them leaders of organizations, of course, leaders in their own families. But I think one of the main, I think one of the main tools that we need to teach is that of self-discovery and of learning about, you know, personal well-being and what does that entail, and learning more about our own character strengths and our own values, because that really gives purpose to the way that we use our qualities and abilities at work and in life in general. And I also think that one crucial element for that we should, you know, learn and become better at is that of increasing our perspective and overcoming our own personal biases. We are listening more and more about, you know, the importance of diversity and inclusion and lots of things, but sometimes, you know, we decide on our own or on our end what's going to happen to the organization and to certain groups of people, but we sometimes don't initiate a conversation with people who think very differently from us. So I think that really bringing about conversation about many different topics and including opposing views with the aim of building something new together. And as Vivian was saying, something that we might you know, we might have never seen yet, but some possibility that might happen in the future that is completely new, and where we not only want to avoid the mistakes that we've done in the past, but when we have this idea that we are one humanity, we are one common humanity, we are one organization. Sometimes, you know, the exchanging the perspectives of, you know, for the leader to share, or the CEO to share with the employees, you know, what has been his or her life trajectory, what are the dilemmas that he or she has been facing in his or I hate this his her, you know, but you know, in his life, and for the leader to be able to listen, you know, also the life struggles of people, to bring our common humanity together, I think would really make such a learning contribution. And I think that is something that also Appreciative Inquiry has been trying to do through the Appreciative Inquiry Summits, where they bring all the stakeholders to the table. And I think that's a practice that I think could really bring about a lot of consciousness into our daily lives and the future of our lives working together.
So I predict that in the future of work, you're going to see people with very entrepreneurial opportunities. They'll be sitting in their homes and they'll have a specific skill set that a company may need for a short period of time. And rather than joining the company, you know, they may have a team around them. They'll make a deal with the organization to use their particular set of expertise, their particular project team around them to solve a problem. And so they'll have to change the nature of relationships. There'll be sole entrepreneurs who are able to put together a group and lead that group. They'll have to collaborate with other groups within the organization that they take. They'll have to take responsibility for their own learning. And so organizations are going to have to change their cultures to make it very clear what their culture is and how to communicate it to these independent entrepreneurs that they're going to bring on their platform. And I think you're going to see a lot of these groups. So for example, there's a drug company now that realized they could only hire in their budget 50 of their top research scientists. But if they put out a request and say, here's how much money we're going to spend on the development of this particular drug, and we'll look at proposals from independent organizations and independent individuals on how to get there, and we'll give you that money to solve that problem. And so what that does is that creates sort of like an X Prize, within a corporation to challenge people around the globe, because somebody said that before. We're no longer, now that we all work, many of us work remotely, we're not locked in to going to any particular location, but we can be part of these virtual organizations where we, contribute and solve problems. And another trend, which we all hit up on, is taking responsibility for our own learnings, making sure that our brand and our skills and our relationships with others that we could bring into these projects. And you're seeing that already. You saw that pre-pandemic, but you're seeing that a lot in conversations that I'm having with workers now about they don't ever want to go back into their office. They want to maintain their independence. People are getting hired now virtually where they've never seen each other and they're contributing, and so we've got to change organizational structures in business to prepare ourselves for this very entrepreneurial, independent contractor, independent learner environment that I think is ahead of us. The organization is really going to have to be sure they have the right people in the right seats at the right time. That doesn't mean they have to own those people, and they have to be part of that community forever. It may be just as simple as, what are the skills and the expertise we have now? What are the learnings we need now to propel our organization to the next level? And I'm not suggesting everything will be virtual. There'll be cores of people within organizations who will be mentors and guides, but there'll be a lot of these independent entrepreneurial teams that come in and out of projects and work. You'll see a lot of collaborations between companies you never thought were collaborators, and, it's like some of the new airplanes are assembled by multiple corporations in multiple parts of the world because, they have effective technology that allows for bidding platforms and for vetting platforms, and, and people come together. So somebody makes the propeller and somebody makes the seat and somebody makes the seat belt, and, they assemble it. The core engineers assemble it and they put out the requests. And, you're going to see a lot of things made like that. A lot of organizations come together like that. And you're going to see a lot of collaborations by independent entrepreneurs that are responsible for their own learning.
Nice.
I don't know that's the truth, but I predict that that's one of the future trends in work.